where you saw the signs in the beginning, but you chose to ignore them. You chose to minimize what your brain was telling you. You chose to do all of these things because you thought the person could be better. I feel like a lot of people don't actually fully grasp what genuinely is hurting them the most during a breakup. And whether that be a friendship or relationship breakup, a lot of us go through life and obviously a lot of traumatic events happen to us, like whether that be in romantic relationships, in platonic and friendships. Unfortunately, we will encounter people who will do, like you will encounter people who will do you dirty. You will encounter people who will fuck you over. You will encounter people who will cheat to you, lie to you, betray you, and never bat an eye or take accountability for it either. And the truth of it is that a lot of the time, while a common theme throughout is a lot of the time we may not fully be aware that someone is going to do us that dirty, and we may not fully know, like, oh fuck, like this person, like not all of us are clairvoyant. Like you can't be clairvoyant and you can't see into the future, and you can't sit here and be like, oh my god, like okay, I know this person's gonna do me bad, so for sure, like let me push off, like let me cut them off. We can't really do that, right? We can't see into the fucking future. You can't see into the fucking future. And depressed, whether you're feeling sad or you're feeling depressed about how it ended, know that all of this is normal. It's normal to be depressed. It's normal to be sad. It's normal to be heartbroken, because honestly, like a lot of friendships and relationships that like we go through in our lives, we really sit there and think like it was going to be like, that was going to be it. We really sit here and think with a lot of people, like, this is the best it's going to get. Like, there's no better for me than this. Like, I've never felt more aligned with somebody than this person that is in my life right now. And while that feeling may be very valid and it may be very true, and it's a sacred thing because it may have been your first time experiencing that sort of feeling, I think you also need to recognize that what you're going through right now in your breakup that is making you really sad, yes, it may be that you lost a person. Whether you lost the person, whether someone like betrayed you, did all the above. I think what ultimately hurts the most at the end of the day, after the storm has cleared, after we stop romanticizing the person, we realize how fucked up they truly were. I think when the air clears, I think what we're left with is the remnants of the fact that I feel like what hurts the most during breakups is the self-abandonment and the self-betrayal. And the reason that I say this is like, yes, it sucks to lose a person. Yes, it sucks that somebody did us that dirty. Yes, it sucks that like all of these things. But I think at the deeper core of it all, we almost knew, in the sense that like people are not good at hiding the type of person they are. At least most people aren't. They will show you warning small signs as to what they're capable of possibly in the future. So someone who cheated on you, maybe in the beginning of in the relationship, wasn't treating you best already in micro forms. They were already not making romantic gestures towards you. They were already not buying you flowers, are not good at hiding who it is that they truly are at their core. Whether that be bad people, good people, we all really show the type of person that we are in the first few interactions that we have with people, or if not in the first few interactions, when we start to finally get to know someone and we start to get comfortable with that person, like you start to show the type of person you are. You start to show if, you're a little bit more like sensitive and emotional. You start to show if like you're more on the reserved side and not really want to open up. Like you start to show signs of this in the beginning of a dynamic or relationship forming. And while you can sit there and recognize that for yourself, right? Then you can sit there and recognize that other people also do that as well. So when someone has cheated on you, betrayed you, and all of that, like all of the above, more than likely your intuition, your brain clocked it from the beginning. And when I mean clocked it from the beginning, I mean that like your brain literally noticed certain signs that this person was not fully safe for you, that this person was not really it for you. Like, I feel like it shows up in the way that maybe a partner or a friend was in the beginning. It shows up in the way that you had to overfunction in the beginning of a relationship to even get it going. It shows up in how you fucking bent your back backwards, kind of almost begging someone to love you like you were loving them in the beginning of a friendship or relationship. And I think the problem that a lot of us tend to have is that we tend to see the potential in people. Like, you cannot sit there and think that potential is good enough, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for disappointment when they don't match up to your potential, because you knew from the beginning that it was only potential, but you tried to convince yourself otherwise. You tried to convince yourself that they would eventually live up to the potential and to the version that you had built up of them in your head. But the truth of it is like, sweetie, you knew from the beginning, girl. You knew from the fucking beginning that they were no good and that they weren't treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. So why did you settle? Why did you stop? Because you settled for a version of them that never existed and was never going to exist. And you know what? That's okay. It happens to the best of us. It has happened to me. It happens to like celebrities, it happens to YouTubers, content creators, it happens to like all of us. But the matter of it is, and this is not to victim blame either, because yes, you can be a victim in a story, but at the same time, you can also be part of why the story unfolded the way it did. And that's kind of what I'm trying to shed light on. And that's kind of, I feel like, one of the more hurtful parts of a friendship or relationship ending. It may not even be the betrayal of the other person that hurts. It may be your own betrayal that hurts more. Your self-betrayal. What it took to keep that friendship and relationship alive was the cost of your own peace, the cost of your own trust. You abandoned yourself to keep the friendship and the relationship alive, only to have nothing to show for it in the end of the day, because at the end, they still turned out to be a horrible person, or they still turned out to not be the person that was meant for you, or they still couldn't meet you where you were. And I think for a lot of us, that's what really hurts. Yes, we may be losing a person. Yes, we may feel like we're never going to fall in love again. Yes, all of these things. But I think what really hurts ultimately is when we sit back. I feel like when you start to grieve, and like once you've been through once you finish denial, once you finish acceptance, and once you're on the later end of grief, you really start to sit there and analyze past you, past person that the friendship and relationship just ended with, and you literally sit there and you're fucking like, bro, like I literally saw the signs at the beginning. Like, how many times has that happened where you saw the signs in the beginning, but you chose to ignore them? You chose to minimize what your brain was telling you. You chose to do all of these things because you thought the person could be better. You believed in them. You had hope. And hope and love is the most powerful tool that any of us have, the most powerful thing on planet Earth. But when it's misused and used to excuse somebody's lack of presence and consideration in your life, in your relationship, in your friendship, all it's going to do is keep you stuck in dynamics that are no good for you. And you're shutting out dynamics that could be good for you. The thing is, you cannot have space for old dynamics in your life if you are sitting there, or for new dynamics in your life, if you are sitting there in the current dynamic, abandoning yourself. Because once you start to abandon yourself for a friendship or relationship, that's it. Like, it's over. The friendship and relationship is over before it even really got into the deeper end of things. Like, example, like for me, like I literally, like, there's so many friendship breakups that I've been through in this past year. And if I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really have the best feeling about most of them from the beginning. Like, there was this guy that I was like in a situationship with, and honestly, like, I knew from the beginning he was not somebody that I wanted to be romantically involved with. Me and him were friends for years, and when it started kind of transitioning into romanticness because of his desire, I was always against it because I never wanted anything romantic to do with him. I wanted to just stay friends, but he kind of pushed for it. And long story short, in the end, it backfired. And he turned out to honestly be a better friend than a better partner. He just can't meet me emotionally where I need him to. And it's funny because while my brain may have not known everything that was going to happen, it still felt it. Like, your intuition felt it, girl. Like, you literally felt, like, literally my higher self was talking to me. And like, you will always know what's right for you if you can really sit there with yourself and like not try to minimize it, but you really just try to maximize that voice in the back of your brain that says, this isn't right. I don't want this. Pay attention to that voice. You need to pay attention to yourself. And I know it sucks, and it's really sad when a lot of these things happen where we kind of like overrode our like the voices in our head and our intuition, only for in the end to have nothing to show for it, like I said. But I think that the biggest lesson and takeaway from these relationships and friendships ending, and from all the hurt and all the pain that comes with it, is that you need to be able to sit there at the end of the day and be like, okay, like, these people did me so fucking dirty, but next time I know that I will never ever not trust myself again. Especially because in the entire world, you are supposed to be the person that trusts yourself the most. Like, out of anybody you will ever trust, you need to trust yourself more. And you need to trust that you are powerful enough and that you are aligned enough with yourself, that when you hear a voice, when that intuition kicks in, when your body tenses up around them, all of these above in the beginning, listen to that voice. Listen to that fucking voice, because you will save yourself so much heartbreak. You will save yourself so much pain and all of the above. Is it your fault that they fucked you over and hurt you? No, it's not your fucking fault. It is not your fault that these people treated you the way that they treated you and mishandled you and didn't know what to do with you and how to treat you the way that you deserved to be treated. That's not your fault. But what you should be taking accountability for is the fact that you abandoned yourself in the moment where you needed it the most. And you know what? That's not technically completely your fault either, because just the way that you've been conditioned, your trauma and all of that stuff like that. Like, I literally saw an Instagram post earlier today, like, I'm gonna put it here, but it perfectly describes what I'm literally talking about. Like, in the sense of, like, you learn from early on in age that, like, if you don't, like, if you minimize your needs, if you don't bring them up, if you just regulate everybody else around you, then you'll keep the peace, you'll keep the calm. Especially if you grew up in an abusive and disruptive household, you learned to have the most comfortable and emotionally safe, and physically safe sometimes, life. It was to literally just ignore what it is that your body and mind wanted, and to just go along with what everybody else wanted. Like, that may have showed up with you not speaking up anymore, with you not expressing yourself because you weren't allowed to, because you couldn't, because your survival depended on it. But those same survival mechanisms, it is now your responsibility to wake up and take accountability for how these survival tactics that once helped you survive are running rampant over your life and are letting people and dynamics stay longer in your life than they need to. Like, it's okay for someone to be in your life for a limited amount of time, and for you to realize, okay, we're not super aligned. Let me not force anything deeper with this person. And that's okay. Because what's going to happen is, in the end, more people who, whether that's romantic or platonic, are going to show up in your life, and you won't hear those warning signs as much anymore. When you communicate how you feel about something, you won't feel shut down. You won't feel like it's never fully resolved, and you won't feel like you have to beg to be seen, begged to be loved, and begged for your boundaries to be respected. You won't have to do that. You don't need to do that with the right fucking people. And if you are currently doing that right now with people, then you know, that's how you know those are not the right people for you. Because boundaries are not something to be negotiated. Your love is not something that you need to be putting on display, and like, or their love is not something that needs to be like begged for and shown you're worthy of, and all of this, etc. Like, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of all of these good things no matter what. And if anybody makes you feel different otherwise, listen to that feeling. Don't go against that feeling that you are getting, because all you are going to do is cause that self-abandonment, and like, you are going to erode your self-trust. Quite literally, that's what's going to happen. Over time, you are going to override your self-trust, and it's going to cause the erosion of your self-trust. Because that's literally what happened to me over the past few years. Like, over the past few years, I seriously went through a fucking lot. Went through a fucking shit show because I chose to not trust myself, and I abandoned myself in the process at the expense of me fearing that I was never going to find a connection that felt this good. But the truth of it is that yes, those connections might have felt good for a little bit, but it can get so much better than that. I mean, you've seen it with other people, it gets so much better. So why wouldn't it get better for you? Like, it is not worth it to betray yourself for a man or a woman ever again. Like, it is not worth it. And I think that's something that ends up hurting us the most, along with the fact like, okay, we're losing this person. But I think what may hurt the most in this process is that we lost ourselves too. So like when a breakup or friendship happens, I think why the pain can cut so deep is not just because we lost that person or because we don't have that dynamic in our lives anymore, but more so because we lost two fucking people at the same damn time. And that's a lot to sit with, honestly. Like, it's really a lot to kind of unpack and to really kind of just like sit with and realize that like it sucks that if we would have paid attention a little bit better to ourselves, we would have known better. And a good way to kind of navigate that feeling in the future when you enter new dynamics is when you start to have that feeling of where, okay, what this person did doesn't sit best with me, doesn't sit right with me. This person is not acting the best towards me. You speak up on it. You speak up on it, you speak up on it, you speak up on it, you fucking speak up when they fucking mistreat you in the beginning, and you see how they fucking respond. Because if they respond with accountability, if they respond with curiosity, if they respond with an open heart and an open mind, then you know that that little feeling that says, this doesn't feel right, is still right. And it's a good thing you listened to her or to him. And you honored that feeling. You expressed it. And it was taken well. Or maybe it won't be taken well in the future either. And that's okay. You move the fuck on and you go on to the next dynamic that you know will actually be better for you. And that person will actually treat you better. Like, you have so much love and light to give to this world. Like, you are an amazing person. I may not know you personally, but I'm sure if you are clicking on this video, like, you are an amazing person. Because you're watching my video. No, okay. Like, you are an amazing person. You have so much light and love to give to this world. Like, you are amazing. You are smart. You have so much potential. And I know you want to do amazing things in this world. And you first have to start with believing and trusting that you can do any of these things. And that starts in the micro moments, like the relationship dynamics, like the friendships, like in the beginning. Because in the beginning, if you start to betray yourself in small ways, if you quiet that voice in the back of your brain, then all you're doing is setting yourself up for even bigger things to happen with people and even bigger issues to happen. And you'll start settling for those too. And you don't deserve to settle, queen. Like, pick that fucking crown up, king or queen. Pick that fucking crown up, bitch. Like, you need to pick that shit up. Like, I don't want to see none of y'all betraying yourselves anymore for anybody ever again, bro. And I know it can be hard, but the biggest thing to start with is when you feel disrespected by somebody, when you feel hurt by somebody, when something happens that bothers you that someone did, you speak up on it. And it may feel uncomfortable, but if you don't do that, you will never get to see how a person really handles conflict until it's too fucking late, until you're in too deep already emotionally, until you already... And when that happens, like, then your emotions are running the show. Your intuition has been quieted by your emotions and your admiration and love for this person. You are no longer truly in control of how the dynamic unfolds because you are in so deep, you can no longer see it from an outside perspective. And before you get to that point, you need to start establishing the boundaries and the energy of the dynamic that, yes, emotions are amazing. Love is literally what keeps friendships and romantic relationships alive. Like, that's why those are even a thing, right? But love can also be dangerous when we use that as an excuse to betray ourselves, to not have enough trust in ourselves to follow through with those voices that we're hearing in the back of our brain, with the intuition that is telling us that this shit isn't fucking right. So, like, a way to combat that, like I literally said, is literally just start showing up in those moments of conflict for yourself. Start showing up for yourself and start speaking up for yourself, and you will, like, that will instantly weed out through so many people. Like, the way somebody handles conflict in the beginning, it will really show you the type of person that they fucking are, especially with those fucking signs. So, and like that's another thing that I was saying in the beginning of the video. Like a lot of people will show you who they truly are in the beginning. It will literally like manifest itself in maybe the way that he doesn't buy you flowers even though you tell him every other day that you love flowers. It will show up in the way that maybe he doesn't ever plan dates unless you bring them up. Maybe it will show up in the way, the lack of effort on checking up on you after you told him that you had a bad day. Like it can show up in any of these ways. And lack of consideration, lack of empathy, and you over functioning just to keep a relationship alive is very telling that this person is capable of doing worse in the future. And it's not to say like we should walk around thinking that every person is bad, every person has malicious intentions, because maybe some people just hurt other people without meaning to. It happens a lot actually. But at the end of the day, if you bring this to attention to somebody and they're not willing to change, they're not willing to like take accountability, and you decide to stay with them anyways, that's when you start to betray yourself. That's when the erosion of your self-trust starts to happen, when there's that lack of self-love that is prominent. Because if you truly trusted yourself, if you truly loved yourself, and if you truly didn't abandon yourself, you would listen to yourself, you would take yourself out of that situation, and you would say, okay, I'll move on to better will find me, because I am the best of the best and I deserve the best of the best. And that's on fucking period. Like literally, I'm at the state right now in my life right now where it's like, I don't care how many people I have to go through, and you shouldn't either. You should not care how many friendships, how many people you have to cut off, how many people you have to go through. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter how many people are going to leave your life or how many people you have to fucking take out of your life forcefully. If they are not treating you the way you deserve to be treated, you need to uphold that no matter what. No matter fucking what, you need to uphold those standards you have for yourself, that love you have for yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to not betray yourself. And you have to sit there and really sit there and say to yourself, like, this can't happen again, right? And like, I don't care how many fucking people you have to fucking go through. Whether you have to go through 5, 10, 20 people in a matter of a year or so. Friends, partners, dates, all of the above. I mean, at the end of the day, life is just all about experiencing, right? And it's like, if you have to go through all of these people just to get to the people that truly matter, then, and that will truly think you really matter and are willing to do anything and everything to make you happy, and not at the expense of your self-betrayal, then it's worth it. It's really worth it. It's like worth it. And you should be in relationships and friendships that you are not betraying yourself. Those can exist. And I want you to know that. I want you to be aware of the fact that you can have true love. You can have genuine friendships that don't require you to betray yourself, to lose trust in yourself in the small and big ways. You can have that. It's just up to you if you are willing to go through the trial and error to get there. So yeah, I love you so much. And thank you so much for watching my video. I feel like this was kind of a longer one. I might try to cut it down. But yeah, it was like a rant. I didn't have it really structured as much this time just because like I was kind of speaking off whim and kind of my own personal experiences. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing really good. And I hope this video was able to help you at least. That's all I'm really trying to do. I'm literally here trying to speak my unfiltered thoughts, just trying to help someone out there who have maybe gone through similar things like me. So yeah, have a wonderful night. Stay safe and